Yes. So, hi everyone. My name is Sagar Kakkala, and today we will be having a session about n8n, like workflow. And this is a part of AI and ML. And this session would be uploaded in YouTube. And like I'll share my screen to show where exactly, or like you could find this like once it's uploaded. Okay. You can simply search for Sagar Kakkala, and you have my okay. I think like oh, it shows someone's picture. Okay, fine. Leave it alone. Yeah, you have my website, you have my like YouTube. One second, where is it the YouTube go? Oh, sorry, my bad. I searched for Udemy. Yeah, you have my LinkedIn, you have my website, and like here you'll have my YouTube. And here this session would be uploaded in AIOPS with MLOPS, Sargakala English. And also, like this same thing, like you would be able to find in my website and contents of the blog in AIOPS and MLOPS. Let me verify if I'm recording or not because like last time I forgot to record and it created a huge mess for me. Okay. Yeah, I'm recording. Fine. So here like we have on day 12 like n8n workflow. And what exactly is n8n? Like how we will use it? Like we'll understand with the project. But n8n simply stands for node mission, which is node automation. Just like you have 8 letters in between Kubernetes and it's called K8s. This is the same way it is called n8n. And as the name suggests, node automation, it is with nodes. Like let's see, like for each task, we use a node and output of each node goes for input as the next node. In this way, like we'll achieve automation. You could think of like unlimited possibilities in using this n8n. It could be used in like even content creations as well. Let's say like if I took a video and I wanted to like post it in like Facebook, LinkedIn, or Reddit, and everywhere, I could also use n8n for it. And also in DevOps workflows, it could be used in like multiple scenarios. Like once the report is generated, to use it into Slack channel or to analyze it to analyze the reports or any possible automations that you could do using n8n. Maybe I could just show this works. Let's say this is the way like templates look, like create user form. This is like for IT ops, like if a new user comes, like where to like to add him into the channel if he's a manager to update his profile. And this is the same way you have like DevOps can. Even for DevOps, you have like multiple templates, and you'll find templates for everything you need in this n8n. Like we'll understand, yes, and like you have like community, and in community you have a wide range of n8n workflows. Let's say if I developed a template, I could also post it in community channel. Based on that, like anybody like who wants to use the same template could use. If I go for like creator, you have like n8n as well. From n8n team, you have 90 workflow team, 90 workflow templates. And for Rahul, let's say for Rahul Joshi, he has like enrich websites leads to outreach with SharePy, GPT, and a wide range like where there is, I'm not sure of like what exact workflow it is, but if I could find like any DevOps workflow, I could still use it. Yeah, we'll understand this n8n better with a scenario example. Let's say, like since most of you are DevOps engineers here, the kind of way we work is, uh, like if there is a pipeline failure, like developer reports this, and like once the pipeline is failed, like we check the error logs, we try to be like find the solution for it, and then try to fix the pipeline. And there was a scenario where a developer told the pipeline is failing, and he just sent me the repo link, and I had to find like what exact pipeline is failing and like what exact uh, error like he is referring to. So based on that, I had to go to all the pipeline logs and I had to check like which exact pipeline the developer has committed to, and then read the logs, analyze the log, and also I had to understand if it is an issue with the code, if it's like something developer had to fix, or is it something like a syntax error, or is it something like a package file is missing, or something I need a solution for it. And what if like the same thing, if I could use n8n, like every time a pipeline fails, I get an alert in my Slack channel like that I use, and also with AI solution of let's say like AI analyzing the error and also AI giving me the solution of it. So to make our things easier, maybe at the end you'll understand like what exactly I'm referring to, and we'll understand this n8n setup with a demo. And because this is a setup, because we didn't had a basic DevOps setup now, like to create a basic DevOps flow setup, like we'll do it in a minor scale. So all you need is a Docker desktop, GitHub account, Slack account for us to get alerts in Slack, and Visual Studio Code to make things easier. I have not added code snippets yet. I'll be adding post this session because of time constraint. I was not able to do. So let me clone this repo and show what exactly this repo consists of. Too many argument. Okay, sorry, my bad. I gave git clone and git clone. Okay, so I had a night and demo. Okay, I think like now the error would go away. Yes, as you could see, like this has like dot GitHub like workflows. Dot git because it is like GitHub, we will be using GitHub Actions as our pipeline. Like whatever is created inside dot GitHub folder and inside workflows, these would be by default taken as pipelines by GitHub to make it as a GitHub Actions. And here, like where I'm taking a main branch, in whenever the main branch is pushed, let's say we have like three scenarios here. First is actions checkout, which is just like a git clone or git checkout like inside GitHub runner that we do. And then I'm installing node. And here is where like I'm installing like npm install. Like npm install is for a node package, like where it will try to build a React application. And for it to build a React application, it needs package.json file. If package.json file is not there, it will not be able to build our application. So this is where we're intentionally failing our pipeline. And here, if it does not fail here, we're actually like making another intentional failure. And since we are not much into application, like we're not building application, all we need is pipeline to make error, and for that to report to our Slack channel. So here index.js is nothing but just a hello world print, a kind of like console.log, hello DevOps in JavaScript. And Docker compose.yaml is where we are using n8n, like we had deployed like n8n image and we're exporting port into 5678, and we will be running n8n in our local host like using Docker localhost 5678. And before like we further proceed, make sure like Docker desktop is running. Maybe I could just show. Okay, 1 second. Yeah, here is where my Docker desktop is running. Okay, so as of now, it does not have any containers. Let me go for this file. Yes, and now Docker compose up minus d because like we need this n8n file to be run. Version is obsolete. Okay, I forgot to. You could keep or remove the version. That doesn't matter. Fine. Where's my Docker desktop now? Yeah, you have like localhost 5678 is where like our n8n is running. 1 second. So once you go into like n8n, like you have this, you could create your, okay. Like give a valid email ID so that like we have like verification key and other thing that's actually needed. I'm just giving random DevOps, and what are you looking to automate? Yes, if you want a free license key, like which is valid for 14 days, you'll get inside your mail. You could just give a send me a free license key and you get that. Yes. So once it is done, you have this build a workflow, or from here, create a new workflow. Like both means the same, both get into the same. So I'm giving like new workflow, and here I'm just naming it as like n8n demo. Yes, like till here it's clear, right?
So
Okay.
basically, Sagar,
Hmm.
so is it in the GitHub Actions we are going to push the code and we are voluntarily giving the exit code of exit one for and the
Hmm.
stage two, right?
Yes, I'm voluntarily giving it fail, but the pipeline does not fail here. Let's say the pipeline does not fail here. The pipeline fails here because, as I said, like npm install requires a package.json file for it to build. Just like if you're familiar with the Java applications, like it need another file. I forgot the name. It's something a Maven. No, let's suppose like if it is a React application, you need like package.json and npm install to exactly build it. And like
Okay,
here, package.json file is not there. The pipeline fails here, and we want
okay,
AI to analyze it, give us like the fix, and send alert to the Slack channel that we use. So we're just simply making a setup for it, and like how we're making a setup using n8n is now we'll be learning in the session. Yes.
okay.
So here,
Basically,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. Okay.
Maybe we
So
could
if
have a doubt session like once we are completely done. It's better.
okay, okay, sir. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. So here, like we'll add a first step, and you'll have like number of nodes here. It could be any node, as I said. Even like you have like YouTube node or anything like this, like a content. First, like we'll have the webhook node, and you could see there is a test URL and there is a production URL. I'm just changing this path to GitHub Actions to make our URL look easier. And we will be getting into like post. Here, these are the methods. Like post is where, let's say, like uh, if you had used any website using post, and if you want to update the data, so it will move from ID1 to ID2. Or maybe I'll show like using pipeline itself. That's better. So here it's production URL. Here it's a test URL. And now we are actually using a production, let's say, like, well, let's go for like test URL, production URL, that does not matter. Like, once you publish, only then it goes into production URL. You could just simply click anywhere for it to like close, and you could see a webhook that has been generated for us. And this is the first node. Like, what we want is like whenever a GitHub actions, a workflow is triggered, let's say a pipeline is run, we want this webhook to be activated, like to trigger automatically. So I'm just going the same repo where I had copied like n8n demo, And because it has like GitHub workflows and ci.yaml, like make sure like you push this into your own repository, and we don't have to like use another tool for pipeline. So I went with GitHub Actions itself. Yes. Okay. Where is this? Let me go. Okay. The Docker, we were done here. We were done here. Yes. One more thing, like since this is like in a local host, like we're running in localhost, and like to add it in our like GitHub webhooks, we need something that is in a production URL because this GitHub actions would run. Okay, I forgot to delete this. 1 second. Give me a minute. This Sarah class world. Okay. Okay. So this actually like webhook does not understand like localhost unless this GitHub servers is running in your local because this is a cloud. You cannot actually run local host webhooks here. So what we are going to do is like we are actually going to install Cloudflare as well. Cloudflare where we are going to publish our local host into production URL, and like we'll get the production URL and we'll use the production URL everywhere. So if you are using like Windows, you could just use this command. If you are using like Mac, you could use this command. Yeah, because I had installed Cloudflare already, so that's where the option is. And to expose our URL, because our n8n is running in like localhost 5678. We are going to use the same thing here. Like localhost 5678 is the one like where our n8n is running. So we're exposing that. Like it'll take a bit of time to generate URL for us. And this is a way like where you could like publish any local host URLs into public URL, but like till the time it's public, you need to keep this terminal running. So this is our URL that has been given. So I'll give like follow link and I'll have like copy. Okay. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Now I just like kept the old workflow as it is in case like if I'm stuck or somewhere, I could just copy it. So that's where that is. So don't get confused by it. So the account as we created, because this is actually a duplicate, like a duplicate account, it would say like it's compromised, but you could just ignore it. As you could see, like this is the same thing that I created here, like n8n demo. So we're successfully inside our n8n demo workflow. So this has like webhook, and here, like once the webhook is here, like what we are going to do is we are going to like add this in our uh, like GitHub actions. Let's say we'll take the production URL, get just like click copy, and here while adding production URL, we are going to change this localhost 5678 to whatever the domain that is provided. So this is the domain that is provided for us. Okay. My bad. Okay. I forgot there is one slash. Yes. So change it to application slash JSON. Since we didn't know, don't need like every push event, we're going to say there is like workflow runs or push event both. You could have this. and then like add webhook. Wait till it gets into like a tick verification. Okay, I think there is somewhere. Mhm. Okay, and this is another way where you could test actually. One second, let me go to the blog. Um, where is the curl command I used? Curl. Okay, and like this is another way to test your workflow. Like as you could see, it is waiting for us to test the URL. So I'm just using like do not disturb this block. Let's go for another. I'm using localhost 5678 webhook test because now it changes the URL from webhook test because test URL is nothing but here webhook test and like the production URL is nothing but here the test won't be there. That's it. What does it say? Command not found. Why is this command not found? Mm, mm, this, I think the space is occupied it, I guess. Okay, now it says like workflow has started. Now as you could see, the workflow has executed. So we're good with it. The input and the outputs as well. Like output, you could have it in three formats. One is schema, one is table, and one is like JSON. So our execution is perfect. Maybe let me go for like production. Let's copy this URL. Okay. I don't know if I made any mistake in URL or something. Let me go for webhooks again. Let me check the blog. Now did I add URL here? Okay, this is test. I added by mistake in the wrong screenshot. Okay. Let me delete this and try again. Mm, Hope this works. I don't know why it's not working now. Hope test. Forget up actions. Forget up actions. Okay. I added HTTP or HTTPS. What did I add? Maybe let me try with HTTP. If this doesn't work, Last delivery was unsuccessful, but why is it getting unsuccessful? Grammar side, side, compliance. Try cloudflare.com. Oh, okay, sorry, I forgot the main thing here, which I completely forgot. Like once this is in editor mode, like for us to be publicly available, you need to click on publish here. So this is something I missed actually. Yeah, because now this is actually not public, so that's why our workflow is failing. So now it's actually in public. So now let's do it again. Yes, this is completely my bad. I forgot on this. Okay, I'll close this local host because not to confuse again. Mm, okay, I'm deleting this web. Yeah, now it will work because I have not published that. Yeah, as you could see, the here because I was in editor mode and I did not publish this, so that is why like the n8n did not work. Or make sure like every time you add a node or change a node, you need to click on publish, else the things don't work. So now for us to check whether it's working or not, let's go for n8n demo. And the way this CI has actually like been set is like whenever there is a push in main branch, our workflow gets triggered. So for it, I had added like test.txt file. Alternately, you could do a workflow run as well, meaning like any change in the file, it triggers pipeline. So here, delete unnecessarily 9 because Copilot took its own command file. So now you could see this actually is running the pipeline. And the thing that we like set up an intentional error, as I said, npm install checks for package.json file. As you could see, it searched for package.json file, and there is no such file or directory. So it actually like failed the pipeline here itself instead of intentional failure. So our pipeline triggered successfully. Okay, I think like this is where our meeting ends in 10 minutes or something. Like once before the 10 minutes, I'll let you know when there is 1 minute and I'll send you a new link in WhatsApp and you could join the new link there because we just now started. And here in executions, let's say this is where like 6:39, now it's 6:39 a.m. here in Porto. Okay. Okay, here is like 6:45, 6:46. So this is where our pipeline triggered. Once you go for execution, you select this block, it will show you like whatever the output parameters are. You could have, as I said, like JSON, schema, or table, any three inputs that you need. And now, like since our webhook is triggering perfectly, let's add an if block, if node. Like we don't, so like we get this as like if node. So here, as you could see in the conditions, the input like the as you could see the input of if node would be the output of previous node, so from webhook, so this is the one. So as you could see, successful execute node to refresh them. I'm just executing node, it'll take a lot of time. Once it gets executed, maybe I'll go for like text execution again just to show. Where am I like in once you click on execute workflow, it'll wait for like testing URL. And once we had this testing URL, okay, okay, I think like we just now had this command. I'm running this command again. And now when the workflow is started, as you could see, it executed. And you could simply drag and drop this if you want the conditions to be here. Let's say, because ours is like not webhook URL exactly. So you could have somewhere like this. You could just drag and drop the conditions here. And for us, because it's just a test URL, it did not contain all the parameters. But for you to check the parameters that we need, what we need, like we need when the pipeline is executed and when the pipeline is failed, we need these two conditions. And for us, like we'll go for webhook. Okay, not this. Sorry, executions. That's and here, as you could see, here in JSON body, actions is where you say the workflow is completed. And in workflow run, I think you'll check there is workflow run conclusion is where you get a failure. So we add these two conditions in our if block. Let's go for like editor, if block, and the condition one. I think this is not necessary anymore. Okay. So I'm just adding this condition. JSON.body.action is equal to one is completed and another is failure. So in this way, let's say, and another condition is JSON dot. As you could see, if has two blocks, true and false. Let's say if the pipeline is failed, like if the pipeline is failed, like if the pipeline is completed as we seen here, and like pipeline has a failure, only then the condition is true, because that's how like we added the conditions. And if it is false, you could simply ignore, because like to stop the false alarm efforts, let's say like if you are having like 1,000 alerts, even if the pipeline is successful, it does not make sense for us to investigate on it. So only if the pipeline is failed, then we'll set the conditions. And as I said, like for every change you just click on publish. You could change it to like version 1, 2, 3, or like describe added if node or something. So in this, like because it's demo, I'm not concentrating much on published versions. So yes, this is done. So for us to change, let's say here you could go for CI, run workflow, and run the main branch again to trigger the pipeline, or you could make any change inside n8n demo repo. So both work the same. Ultimately, we need pipeline to be running and to be failing. That's it. Yes, it failed. Here you'll not be able to see any change, but you go for executions. As you could see, this is like 6:50 a.m. So 6:51 it is now. So we're able to get the conditions as well. As you could see, here are the conditions like webhook previous triggers, JSON body dot action completed. So it is true. And JSON body dot like body dot workflow and dot conclusion is failure. So the R if node is as well executing perfectly. So we'll go for condition like true. If it is true, what we need is we need these logs to come to Slack like for this, because this is like HTTPS request. This is in website, external website. So we are going to add HTTP request node here. I think that's the one. Okay. And in HTTP request, you'll get the node and like as I said, like output of webhook. These are like test URLs. You could ignore this. And here for URL, change it to expression, because if you are using like JSON body dot codes and everything, we'll change it to from fixed to URL. Like fixed is where like you know the exact URL. Expression is where there are few changes from previous node. Here, like every time a workflow is executed, you could see there would be a change in run ID. So let's say like for this, the run ID is 3129 something, and here the run ID would be different. Like for everything, the run ID is different. So as we go, the like URL changes. The web flow, I think I will show here itself, the webhook. This is the latest, right? Yeah. The webhook has this URL ready for us. Yeah, this is the URL. And when you click on like slash logs, you have all the URL that you need ready. So we'll use the same here. And okay, I think like here is where we need GitHub as well. You guys could, one second, there's a chat. If you've created, yes, you could actually access as well because now it's in production. You guys could be added. Let's add HTTP request node. And for it, like for HTTP request, we'll use like get method. And for URL, as I said, like from in webhook, as I showed before, in webhook, like we have at a particular place like URL, and all we do is like that URL like will fetch the URL and we'll use like slash logs. For us, one second, where exactly the URL is. Okay, okay. This is webhook. Let's go to actions. Okay, this is Cloudflare. Hmm, yes, I think it's better if I put the bug this way. You don't need to like worry about like undefined slash logs because like we did not had the this because this is a test URL. It's not able to find it. But like when we get into production URL, it'll be able to find it. And here authentication, we give like predefined credential type. And here search for GitHub API because like this is a GitHub URL. It needs to be able to read our GitHub. And for us to set up credentials, here like go to your profile. Yes. This is like we were discussed a lot of times how to generate tokens, developer settings, personal author, sorry, like tones classic, and here let's say like generate new token and 8 in depot, and like we need repo, we don't need like write packages or read packages. We'll just give like GitHub workflow. You even don't need this, like it'll be able to read this like workflow discussion as well. So we're generating token. Or another way, I think like this is better, like fine grained tokens, like we'll give that to that particular repo. So our selected repository is n8n demo, and it's valid only for 30 days. In case if I forget, like no, in case even this is exposed, so there's nothing issue, and because it's just like one repository. So I'm copying this, GitHub API, set up credentials, and user is Sagar Kakkala's world, my GitHub name. So this is done. And as I said, like once you are done, like make sure you click on publish. Now, since it is done, now let's go for our GitHub account. Okay, let's run the pipeline again. CI, and let's check the executions. So this still is done till if block. We're waiting it to go into HTTP request. Okay, Yeah, it's able to get all the workflow it's needed. Okay, we are still waiting on output. Why is it not going to HTTP request? Execution 7.4. Generally, it doesn't take this much of time. Okay, I don't know why it went to false branch. Okay, because it went to false branch, it did not execute, but we need it to in true branch. Workflow is failure. JSON body dot action. JSON body action. This body action is completed. Yeah, this is there is equal to completed. And conclusion is failure. This is the true condition. It went into false. This is actually confusing me now. Mm, 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 mm. Okay, it started if node, not again. Let me remove one condition because it's actually like messing up something. Okay, it's failure. This should be true. Okay. Body workflow and conclusion. Now it's like JSON body dot workflow dot run dot conclusion is failure. Workflow run dot conclusion is failure. Okay. I removed one condition to see how it works because it's not at all going into like a this let's see, maybe. Okay, it started executing. Yeah, I hope it gets into like HTTP. Oh yeah, finally it went into HTTP request. Okay, so it's able to get our logs here, as you could see. Once you download this log file, you'll be able to see. So there is like 0.txt, like which is our pipeline logs, as you could find. And this is like where each, like who set up the node, like for each node, let's say like for each step, the logs are. We're going to take this complete logs and we're going to feed that into AI agent. Let us go back. Hmm. Let's get into editor mode and plus, and because like we want to, because it's a zip file, like we want to like decompress these files, just like how we did extract. And here output fix, like make it as logs, so that like whenever a pipeline is executed, you'll have like each file as like log 0, log 1, log 2, or anything if you want. Like output prefix could be anything. And the input of previous node would be, like, sorry, the output of previous node would be input of this node. So the compression node again publish, let's say now, intentionally failing the pipelines. Let's say, okay. Yes. So yes, the execution started, I guess. Okay, yeah, the execution started. Yes. As you could see, in compression, like each file 0.txt is log 0, system.txt is log 1, and everything like you could find it here. I think it's just like one item. Okay, I'm not able to find the other items. But there would be like 6 to 7 logs here that are actually like for each item we get this. Maybe now we want all the logs to be combined. And for it, like what we are going to do is we are going to use a code block. You could use either JavaScript or Python or anything that you like here. So I'm just going to like code in JavaScript, and here I'm copying the code. Let's say this is done. We're almost done. Okay, this is how you generate tokens, code. Yes. I'll add this in code snippet, so don't worry about like copying. So yes, and this is done. Where is this code block? Okay, code in JavaScript and also publish. Now let's go for CI. Okay, it's still an if block. Okay, the code in JavaScript is done. So as you could see, like it actually gets like complete logs in one place. Like once we get this complete logs in one place, so we'll be feeding it to AI agent to analyze our like logs to see like what is the error and what could be the possible solution. So we have a first here like AI agent. Yes, we'll go for like AI agent, and you could just leave this as, and because we want it to analyze, like click on define below and here like user message. One second. So here, instead of all this, like this is the one that stands as main because JSON.logs, because for the previous nodes, we had generated logs and the same logs, we'll be using this as input here. We're asking get to like analyze these logs here. So it's done. Our AI agent is done, but we need a chat model like which could do this. Like you have like varieties of chat models here, even like Claude and everything that you name. So we'll use OpenAI chat model. And for this to set up a credentials, let's say if you have like uh, a chat GPT account, just click on OpenAI API key and you'll be navigated to this like platform.openai.api. And here we're clicking secret key. Let's say n8n test 2. Yeah, you could leave remaining as it is. So even our chat model is done. And if you want to have like some tool, like be it like Slack or anything, if you want AI to not mandatorily to use when it's needed, let's say even the web search or something, you could click on this tool or any tool that you want to attach here. For Chat GPT, you could use this here, just like how we attached MCP in tools. And in memory, you could also use all the databases, and a simple memory would be your n8n. It's for the basic projects. And here we are going to attach our Slack as well, because let's get our Slack as well. And in Slack, we will be using send a message. Let's say we're almost done. And in send a message, because like we need Slack credentials as well, as I would say. Make sure you have a Slack account. Okay, here is this. Yeah, this is better. I get into the mice. This is actually a React demo, like workspace that I created long ago for first project. I'm using the same here. And before we actually create a Slack channel or something, like make sure you create a Slack bots for it, because we need Slack bots for accessing our Slack. You could go for like tools and settings. I think is it like admin tools here, apps and workflows, and here you have build, create new app. Let's say blank app, and I'm naming it as n8n demo English. And this is the workspace I want to add React demo. And here for bot token, I'm just adding file, right? Links, right? I'm just like adding permissions. Just how we added for GitHub token permissions is the same thing. And install to React demo. Hello. And you get bot token here. So this is the one that's actually majorly needed. Once we go for it back to n8n demo, set up your credential and use this bot token here. In here, the Slack account is done, and here message sent. Okay, and select send to. Let's send to a channel, and from list change it to ID, and let's create a Slack channel now. Just create like n8n. You could add all your team members if it is like on a workplace. You would add all your team members here, and once this is done, because we created an app, like we are going to integrate that app here. What was the app like? N8n demo English. Yes, this is done. And once this is done, to get a channel ID, you'll just click again, and in about this is the channel ID. So we'll go for n8n, we'll give the channel ID. It's a simple text message here. Change it to expression because we need in a clear format. So I'm changing it to message. 1 second. So this is the message saying like it's an alert. Yes. Okay, you don't need to worry about this. Yeah, so our Slack channel is even set. So in a way, like whenever a pipeline is triggered, so it will check the condition of pipeline is failed, and if it pipeline is failed, it will get the logs and it will create into a zip file, and this unzips file, and this code actually like gets all the logs at one place, gives it to our AI agent, which is our chat GPT here, and it'll analyze all the logs, it'll read the errors, and it'll also suggest the solution. And once it gets all the solution and everything, it'll send it into our Slack channel that we had like configured. So I had published it now. Let's fail the pipeline for one last time. Okay, I think let's get into this. Let's go for executions to see what's the time now. It's 7:18. Okay. Yes, so it started in if block. Okay, so it has sent our Slack message. Let's see. Yeah, so this is the one like English pipeline error which we recently created. And as you could see, n8n Demo English is the app that we created, and that Slack bot now had sent us the root cause is npm couldn't find package.json in checkout repository root. And this is the error, exact error, and why it failed. Job test, npm install step, why it happened, because package.json is not committed at repository root. And detail evidence and recommended fixes are this. And also to navigate to our pipeline error. So this is how like we'll make things easier as a DevOps engineer using n8n. This is just a one scenario that you could use. You could actually use a multiple scenario using this n8n, and it's also widely used for AI automation workflow. Uh, till here, it's clear, right? I think like I'm done with the session. Now let me know if you guys have any queries. I'll stop sharing. Yes, I think Jagadish is here, or okay. Jagan is Jagadish. You guys could unmute and speak.
Sagar, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Sagar, what would be the other cases to use this n8n for our workflows in day-to-day tasks?
Maybe I could say something like if, let's say, like one scenario I used is like if a Kubernetes pod failed, for me to report it in the Slack channel. We could be that way as well. Or if like, let's say, if the memory is getting like larger inside a server to run a script, and then also to have a Slack channel report, or even like generate a report and even like send mails, like send automated mails to someone that you need. uh, or if production is done, let's say like if production, let's say maybe like, let me share screen. It's better I'll share screen and see, like using the same node. Let's say, where is this node? Okay. Using this the same thing, because this is a pipeline failure, we send a Slack channel to us. What if it is not a pipeline failure and you need your manager's approval? So we could actually set a pipeline failure false to send another let's say another node for Slack, and this time you send a PR approval to your manager. It's like a PR approval link, because like every time like we generate PRs, we take the like PR links and we send it to manager, right? You could even automate that. Got it?
Uh, got it.
Yes. So there are like wide scenarios in your day to day that you could use. I think, yeah, I could possibly think of this right now at this moment. Yes. If you guys could turn your cameras on, I will take a screenshot and I will just stop this here. Okay.